Suzanne McNeil with Design Originals, and today I'm here with Anna Bondac, and she does simple paper cutting, punch outs, and with a knife. Okay, so she's going to show you how in just a minute.
So my technique is based on creating color and shape with layers and cuts. I call it cut, layer, cut again. So I'll give you a very modified example. Let's say I'm making a 3-layered abstract art piece. I'm just going to do a star. The trick is to not stay limited to this range, but to really use your hand and the full range of motion of your arm. So let's say I'm cutting this way. I'm also using my non-cutting hand. I'm turning and I'm pivoting constantly. So I'm just going to do a modified flower. And I could consider this piece the silhouette. And I use the tip of my knife to punch out. And if I'm not totally pleased with it, I want one more petal over here, for example, I'll just recut. So now I have this silhouette, which I can play with. I'm going to add one more piece here. Now normally in collaging, you build your layers up, but in my technique, I build my layers down. For example, I could play with different colors. That's a little too bright for me, so I'm just going to simply apply a little glue. That's probably even way too much than I need. And so instantly, if I get my registration right, line up my corners. So now I have a blue flower within a blue sea, and I would sketch another design. In this case, I'm going to add some petals like this. And I'm just going to follow the line of the silhouette to determine my interior shape. It's a little bit like cutting snowflakes when you were a child. You're just sort of playing with shapes within shapes. And the good news is that when I'm done with this, I will also have an additional star. So if you're really careful, you can save your shapes and add them to the design somehow. But in this case, well, that's pretty bright, but I'm just going to put that down to show you how the layers get built. Again, not much glue. This is Tombow Mono Multi Glue, which I love. And again, if you get the registration right, I use my burnisher here. This is actually a printing baron, which is used for linoleum block printing, but I find it works very well here. So you're building shapes by subtracting them from paper and saving. I'll just add this little guy here just for fun. And this is just a simplified technique. And I'll cut those off later. But here you'll see that by cutting out, you create further shapes, such as this here where I made this stationary folio. But each time you cut out a shape, you've created a new stencil for further patterning. So this is a sampling of some of the projects that you could expect to do in this book, Simply Paper Cutting. That includes a hanging wine tag, gift tag, a gift card presentation folder, a half of a cake skirt, which you can wrap around the base of a cake stand, place cards with designs on them, and this is an example of a covered journal. And they're all samples of how to create these from total scratch in this book, with including patterns, step-by-step photography, and very detailed instructions. And in the very front of the book, for those who are intimidated by the thought of using a craft knife, is every technique very simplified practice, hands-on, so that you can learn every basic cut, which results in even the most complex cuts.